Hello, welcome back to my channel. Are you ready to take a look at the new China Glaze 2018 summer collection? This collection is called Shades of Paradise. As always, we have 12 new polishes here for summer. We have some mattes and we have some neons. We have some shimmers and just plain creams. We even have a linear holo. So settle in, we're going to take a look at live application of each of these shades. That's really going to help you out today because some of these polishes are not very fun to apply. We're going to go ahead and get into that as we go through the collection. I will put the link down in the description bar below where I went to go purchase these polishes. And let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go in alphabetical order. That means that the first three polishes are all going to be matte polishes. Now a lot of the mattes in this collection are because we have some neons. We have three neons, and this is one of the first that have a beautiful matte neon base with some lovely shimmer. So I believe it's gold shimmer in all three of them. It's probably the same component. The first one is this orange. It's a very yellowy orange. We actually have a peach coming up in this same formula, but this one is definitely more orangey based, and I think it's pretty. Actually, out of the whole collection, especially when you consider some of the formulations on some of the creams that I might like more normally, but they had a more problematic formula. I actually think that these three neons are my favorites out of the whole collection. As you can see, it's not a super duper bright neon, but it's very pretty. It does have a lot of white in it to give it kind of a blasted neon color. This is called All Sun and Games. These three polishes that have this formula, for the most part, you're going to get them opaque enough at 2 coats. You may want to go for a 3rd coat. They had to shear it out just a little bit so that you could really see that shimmer. The one thing about the three polishes like this that I actually I'm recommending to you highest among all the rest, they do have a little bit of a quick drying matte formula. So as long as you're aware of that and don't try to over manipulate them. What happened to me when I didn't know that and went to go apply these the first time is about the maybe 5th pass on the nail, I started to pick up that first pass. So you just gotta kind of make quick work of it and not over manipulate. So this first one is All Sun and Games. Next up we have this beautiful neon purple. And neon purples are so funny because they're not very bright like other fluorescent pigments. They're nice and dark. This does have a typical neon formula though, which means it's a matte pigment. This does dry matte and it's a very flat matte, which is very beautiful, I think. I think very flat polishes look really pretty. And it's just definitely something different looking on your nail. So I like that. This is called Boujee Board. And I bet that you probably have a few polishes in your collection that look like this because this is pretty much the color that the neon pigment comes in, the neon purple. But I think that they did a good job with this one. So this one didn't dry so fast like some of their super flat neons where I just absolutely couldn't work with it. So I did appreciate that. So if you don't have something like this, I recommend this one. The next polish in the collection is a white matte polish. And this one's called Cabana Fever. And this is, in my opinion, the polish I would recommend that you don't purchase out of the collection. It has a tricky formula, you guys. This dries way too fast. This was kind of a bummer, actually, for application. There's a million great white polishes out there. Just add a matte top coat and you'll be good to go. Don't mess around with this one. Honestly, you guys, I apply nail polish all day long, and this was one of the most frustrating that I've put on in a while. So I don't recommend it. I am showing it to you at 2 coats though. So this is Cabana Fever. Next up, we have the first just straight up cream out of the collection. This is kind of a soft, dusty pink shade. It's on the warm side and it's called Can't Sandal This. And this is very beautiful. I did really actually like this color a lot. The creams in this collection have a kind of messy formula. They're thin and runny. This one wasn't one of the worst offenders. So I actually did like this in comparison to some of the other creams in the collection. And I think that the color is really nice. I actually really like this shade of pink. I really like a dusty light pink shade. So I like a dusty anything. You guys notice that about me? Anyway, this is Can't Sandal This, and I did 2 coats. Next up, we have this bright pink, and I think this one might be my top pick out of the whole collection, you guys. I know, right? I picked the pink. Now, what that tells me, first of all, is that this is a beautiful pink neon, but what else it tells me is that I just didn't really fall in love with any of the polishes out of this collection that much to have a pink be my very favorite. Now, granted, a neon pink, if I'm going to pick that as my top pick out of any collection, it would be the summer collection. So that makes a little bit more sense to me too, but I just really Didn't fall in love with this collection very much, so it was kind of a bummer for me, but this one is really, really pretty. This is called Don't Be Sea Salty, and it's beautiful, vibrant, bright, really what I'm looking for in a summer collection from a mainstream brand. And this does have that same formula where it's a matte fluorescent neon pigment in there, and then they have the gold shimmer. So again, just with these polishes, if you are going to get them, just make sure you don't over manipulate. I know I'm recommending them to you as my favorites, but still, I wish that my favorites could have a great formula. So I was kind of bummed by this collection, you guys. I have to be totally honest with you. It really wasn't my fave. It's not like they're unworkable. The white, I feel like, is actually unworkable. This is not unworkable. Just make sure you make quick work of it and try to help it level, but it kind of tries to dry too fast so that it doesn't level itself. Anyway, all that said, I think that this is probably the best one, and it's really pretty. It's called Don't Be Sea Salty. The next polish in the collection is a red. It's this red that I've had on my nails. It's a lovely color. I love this shade of red. It has a lot of white in it. It's very bright. It's a nice, youthful, classic red, and it gets great coverage at 2 coats. But we do have a very runny formula. Now, when they thinned these polishes out, they didn't make them ultra sheer, so that's good at least. You're still getting great opacity. It's just what's happening is when you go to like apply the polish, you're thinking to yourself, oh, okay, this is just gonna be a regular China Glaze cream, but not so. As you pull the polish out and you brush the excess polish off on the neck of the bottle, you go into apply and you discover quickly, oh, I really didn't take off enough polish. It just so much runs out right into your nail, and it just tries to flood the cuticle, and it just really bums out the experience for me, you guys. There are a lot of reds that are similar to this. As you've noticed, I've given you some suggestions for similar things as we've been going along and just kind of quickly going through them. This is my new method of comparisons, by the way. I know that not all of you love it, but a lot of you are in favor of just quickly going through. Because it's only a 5-second still of that photo, just hit pause if you want to look at any of them a little bit longer, but I would definitely choose another red that looks just like this over this polish, because the cream formulas in this collection are just really, really messy, and I don't want to deal with something that's overly messy, especially if I have something that looks really similar. I didn't even tell you what this is called. This is my favorite thing about this polish. It's called Kiki in Our Tiki. Isn't that cute? Anyway, it's a beautiful color, so purchase at your own risk. The creams in this collection aren't very fun to play with, guys. Next up, we have this beautiful light khaki sand, and you guys, this polish is so pretty, and it has this in the bottle. It's so pretty in the bottle. And it has this beautiful golden, almost green shimmer running all throughout that doesn't show up incredibly well on the nail. This one, I know I would love so much if they hadn't thinned it out so much. This one and the one coming up very last are the worst offenders in the creams of just being so messy. This one, I put this on and it was like a runaway train. It just wanted to just flow all over my nails, and I'm like, wait a second. I'm applying this polish, not the other way around. That's how I felt. This is called I'll Stand By You, and this one had such great potential if it just wasn't so messy. So I'm bummed out that they kind of thinned them out so much, probably in an effort to make their batches go farther, or it could have been in an effort to make something not thicken up too fast. I don't know exactly why they did it. I just know that it makes it so it's not very fun for me. So I don't really recommend this polish to you. I'll Stand By You, I very painstakingly, with a lot of cleanup, did 2 coats. The next polish in the collection is the Linear Holo, and it's a blue Linear Holo. It's called Ma-Holo at me, and I think that's cute. In comparison, I was asked to show you how it looks up against a silver so that you can see that it definitely is blue. And this is the silver from the My Little Pony collection called I See Ponies. So this polish, it is a silvered blue color that's very beautiful. It has a very nice 2-coat formula. I did just barely get the Color Club Linear Holos. They have Linear Holos and Linear Holos with added glitter. They released 2 full holographic collections, and those are superior to this. I just don't think that they put enough holo pigment in here. You can still see the holo, but it's not as bright as those polishes. Now, that being said, You can get this for $3.25, and I was not able to find those Color Club polishes for under $6 online. So, you know, you choose what you want to try. If, you know, the $3.25 is more in your budget and you wanted to try a linear holo, this is okay. It wasn't as bad as this silver holo. I was pretty disappointed in this My Little Pony silver holo, because a silver holo, a linear holo, you don't have to add any extra coloration to your formula to make it a different color. You can just leave it silver. Linear holographic pigment comes in the silver form, so you can just leave it, which means that you can have an even brighter linear holographic flare because it's not being diluted by anything. Does that make sense? But this one really wasn't that great. And this one's just honestly, it's a little bit better, but it's not really that great. So, I mean, if you're dying to try linear holo, I guess you could give this a go. Spend a little more and try an indie. I definitely recommend that. That's the way to go. If you want to wear a holographic, you want it to be like holo, right? Like, you want to be walking down the street and people be like, whoa, okay, your nails are holo. Otherwise, you could try one of those Color Club polishes, but they're retailing for almost $10 on most websites, which is basically the same price as an indie. So anyway, that was a long spiel about it, but it's kind of a big deal that China Glaze put a holographic in their collection. Actually, they did it in the My Little Pony one too, so I'm glad that they're doing that more. And I believe that they're bringing back a whole collection of retro holos pretty soon is what I've heard. So anyway, we'll see if those are any better. As far as this one goes, this is kind of a take it or leave it holo for me. Next up, we're going to look at the 13th polish in this collection. This is an Ulta exclusive, and it's called Holo Can You Glow. This is a silver linear holographic, and I wanted to put it in right here because we were just talking about the Icy Ponies polish from the My Little Pony collection, and these are basically the exact same polish. You guys can watch me swatch it here. It goes on nicely in 2 coats, maybe a tad on the sheer side. You could maybe go for a 3rd coat, but they're pretty much the same color, guys, and they have the same kind of problem with their holographic pigmentation. It's just really not strong. I'm going to show you them side by side in just a moment, just in case you wanted to look and see how similar they are to each other, but just take it from me, you do not need both. In fact, I don't think that you need either. I'm going to give you another option in just a second. Here it is under my studio lights, and here it is out in the sunlight where that flare should just be gleaming at you. Next here I have Icy Ponies on that middle finger, and I have Color Club, Bag, Borrow, or Steal on that 4th finger. Look at that holographic flare. That's what it's supposed to look like. That's because Color Club actually put a good hearty amount of holographic pigment into that polish and not just put the bare minimum in there to make it a holographic polish. So that's what you want to see, that beautiful flare. So definitely if you're going to put your money into a mainstream linear holo, I go with the Color Club ones. I'm going to have a whole separate video on that collection coming up soon on my channel, but hopefully that side by side right there really demonstrates what I was talking about. So yeah, I hope that helps you out. Next up we have this Lustry Pearly Blue. It has a lovely blue, like almost blue-green vibe, and it's called Mer-Made for Bluer Waters. This is really pretty in 2 to 3 coats, probably more like 3, but it depends on, you know, how much you absolutely want no nail line. This one, some of you are really not going to like this because of the brush strokes. For me, I don't mind that. I actually kind of like Lustry Pearls lately. They're some of my favorites. And especially when I compared this to the cream formulas, I would rather wear this than those. So I did like this one, and I think it's a pretty color. So this is Mer-Made for Bluer Waters. Next up we have the other purple. Yay, they put 2 purples in here. This one is a blue toned purple with a lot of white in it, unlike that matte kind of neon purple that was before. This one's not neon, it is a cream, and it's called Stop Beachfrontin. And this one has a similar formula to the other creams. It wasn't quite as bad as that light khaki kind of shade, and not as bad as one coming up. This one was kind of medium bad. It was just not my favorite, you guys, and there's a lot of colors out there like this. Hopefully my comparisons will help you find some other options. And this is a beautiful shade. Like, I think this is so, so gorgeous. So I just wish that the formula was a little bit tighter. Next up, we have the peach of those three matte neons with the shimmer. This is the peach one, and I think this is lovely. This is beautiful. This color, along with that bright neon pink, but this color also just really makes me think about summer. It's so beautiful. It's just a little bit tart, and it's so pretty. So this is called Tropic of Conversation, and it has that beautiful bright gold kind of particle-y shimmer where you can actually see all the little particles because the shimmer is getting a little bit bigger. It's actually close to a micro flaky. That might be what it is in here. So basically, as a shimmer gets larger and larger, it becomes a flaky pretty much. And so then you have micro flaky till you get up to flaky. So I love that. I wouldn't exactly call it flaky, but it's getting close. So anyway, I think this is really beautiful. Again, definitely one of my top picks. Just be aware of that formula and you'll have an easier time if you know what to expect and not pull too many brush strokes. So this one I really did enjoy. I just love that shade for summer. The last polish in the collection is called Water Falling in Love, and this color is so beautiful. It's this bright light pastel, but it's not super dusty looking, which makes it nice and fresh for summer and spring. But you guys, the formula on this was such a mess. It's so runny, just as runny as that khaki one. I put this on and I was like, whoa, what is going on here? And I know had it not been like that, I would have loved this shade because this kind of color is just, I mean, it's like a summer sky. It's so, so beautiful. It's soft, refreshing. So I was pretty bummed that the formula on this was not fun. It makes it so I can't really recommend it to you guys. This is in like stark contrast to the Essie Cream formula, for example, which is so easy, so smooth, applies itself, and then you have this where you're like, just don't run away from me, polish. Just why do you want to run from me? That's how I felt. So yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the polishes in this collection I just was sadly disappointed with. It feels a little bit thrown together last minute, and maybe if polishes have really awesome components in it, I guess I'm kind of thinking like indie at this time, I can get around a maybe less than perfect formula. But the fact that only a few of these were anything other than just pigment and base, it's just a bummer. So I don't know, China Glaze, I'm sorry, I didn't really like this collection very much. I think that for the most part, almost all of these are still usable, but definitely not one of my favorites that they've done in a while. Wish I had a better way to end this video, you guys. I do still have that link in the description bar if you still do want to go shop them. But I would recommend that Essie Summer Collection. I would recommend the OPI Summer Collection. I would greatly recommend the Orly Collection over this one, you guys. There's a lot of other choices for you out there with summer mainstream polishes. Since I'm talking friend to friend here, I would probably suggest you go with one of those other collections rather than this one, or just pull out other things that you already have. So that's me keeping it real with you guys. I wouldn't want to steer you down the wrong path. I hope that you can tell my intention. I'm not trying to bag on the brand. You guys know I've loved China Glaze forever and I still love them. I just have to be real with you so that you're not disappointed if you purchase them. And that's kind of the point of this channel, is to review these collections so you guys know my opinions on them and it'll help you decide what you want to do. So anyway, thanks for being here. I hope to see you back for the next review. Take care until then, guys. Bye!